that actually brings us to the next question, because I want to know if I'm gonna create my own gemstone box, what with selected crystals, which crystals should I select? Like, I have a couple at home that I just bought, randomly. Oh, this is nice and that's nice, but I never started using them. But if I wanted to create, like the little kit.
I personally like to keep it simple. I like the number 7 because I feel as if 7's a healing number. And for me, that's manageable. And the thing with crystals is if you don't use them and work with them, then they're not going to work. And so just like a vitamin program or a daily, you have to do it to do it. So this is what I would suggest. When you get a crystal, you always want to give it a job. So for example, one of your 7, say for example, is selenite. Because once again, we want to have directed intentions so we know where we're going. Because if we don't have a plan, we're just, whatever happens, we want to kind of guide. So for example, with selenite, I would say this would be one of your 7. You get it. You hold it in your hand. Whatever your faith or belief systems, do that. Okay, always do that. Basically, what I do is I give my crystal a job. This is going to be my healing crystal. I program the selenite so that when I use it, it emits a strong healing energy. Bam. Or it could be longer, but it's just simple. So even with your crystals today, you want to interact with them. Pick one of them up and give it a job. Okay, this is good. Another one, I can't lift it. It's huge, but I have it right here. It's rose quartz. Rose quartz is for love. I'll hold it in my hand. It's one of my 7s. I program this crystal so that it emits the energy of love. And when I work with it, I learn about love at its highest frequency. Bam. Amethyst, I would think, would be another one. Once again, I have another one here, but it's huge. I can't lift it. But I have a lot of big ones.
Behind you.
Amethyst is about your intuition. It's purple. It's a very affordable rampant stone. So that's 3. I personally, everybody here, shungite. This mineral is called shungite. It is out of Russia. I highly suggest that everybody watching this looks into that mineral, does their own research on shungite and how I personally use it, which could be a whole other conversation for this EMF stuff that's going on, 5G here in California and throughout the rollout of that. So that's a whole other conversation, but please do your own research. It's all hidden in plain sight. Okay, so shungite would be that. In my opinion, it helps to harmonize, not protect, but it has a harmonizing effect for EMF. What does that mean? I put shungite next to all my modems, my computers, anything that has the EMF waves coming out. Do your own research, it's all there. Shungite is a huge one to have, okay? So I would say another one for me, especially in today's times, are blue lace agate. People are feeling very anxious. The next one would be tiger's eye. It helps to conquer fear. And then my number 7 would be black tourmaline. So, and black tourmaline is for protection. A lot of people feel that they need extra protection. You could carry it in your pocket. So those would be my top 7 to work with because you're dealing with all of the emotions. If you wanted to throw on another one, because I feel like a lot of people are worried about money right now, I throw in pyrite. Okay, so that would be 8. We're moving into the cycle of prosperity. So pyrite looks like fool's gold. It tells you what it does, and it's really easy. So those would be my tops. Once again, every one of them, you program with an intention.
And most of them you can find in here as well, right?
Every single one of them are in there with more information.
Wonderful, perfect. Then we have our kit, our first.
Yes.
I'm going to create one very soon. So,
yay!
Yeah, I'm actually longing to get into. I see that you have a big amethyst behind you,
yes.
And I bought one like that a couple of years ago because I think it's so beautiful. And
yes.
But I never started working with it, not yet.
Yes, yes. You know what? It's simple. How you work with crystals? Hold them. Yeah. Breathe. Be still. That's where all the answers are. It's just, how do we get to that point? You know what I mean? It's in the stillness and the breath that we find our answers. These are all tools to help us get to that point.
And maybe not worry so much about what it's good for and so on.
100%. Because this is what I will say. How this affects me is going to be different than how it affects you, versus how it affects my daughter. It doesn't work like that. We live in an expansive universe. It's going to affect us differently, but in a good way, okay? In a healing way. But there's not one thing for everybody because we're all different. But we start the journey and it shifts us and we elevate and we grow. And we know that that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So we should look at the information about each crystal as a guideline and not for a truth.
I think in life, personally, everything has to be a guideline. If you take a certain herb, it's going to affect you differently than the same herb that I take because of what's going on in my blood and all. There's so many layers. So I personally believe everything's a guideline. You have to take ownership of what's going on with you and own it and shift and evolve from there. Yes, it's a guideline of here's where it could possibly the frequency be, but work with it because it's going to shift you in your own way of where you are. We can only go with where we are right now. That's all we have now.
That's a good one. Thank you. So if you were to give us, you already gave us a lot of tips already, but if you were to give us like 3 good tips to add a bit of crystal energy into our daily lives, what would you say?
I think the number one tip that I feel everybody and hopefully your people know about is smudging your environment with, smudging. A lot of people right now are at home, people are worried. And if you go into your environment, and this comes back to my feng shui days, and your environment's not clean and you are not, then everything in your environment's going to be affected by that. Crystals don't say, oh, this is good energy, this is not good energy. Crystals are going to magnify what's ever in the environment. So you want to make sure your environment's clean, okay? So that's why you want to make sure if you're working with your crystals, and say, for example, I had a hard day, and I'm like, I just can't even believe what's going on, and I have this over my chest. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm going to want to cleanse this crystal afterwards. I'm going to want to either put it outside in the sun, or I like hacking energy with sound. I'm a very big sound person, megahertz music. Please look into that. It's a game changer. But cleanse your crystals. So that's a big thing is that it's like a shower. You have to clean every day. These absorb energy. So if you're using them as a healing device, you want to make sure they're clean. Okay. Clean your environment, clean your crystals, and then give your crystals a job and a purpose on how they're going to work for you. Because once again, they're your tool. They're not the magic. We're the magic. These are the tools to help us get there.
Look, you're so practical. You just point everything out. It's so clear. Do, bam, bam. Perfect. So
we got to keep it simple, you guys. We're on like mental overload of all this stuff. It's just, we got to keep it simple. We got to keep it simple. We got to raise our light. We got to live from here, and we got to change our planet right now. We can. We got to come together in consciousness. We can in numbers. Yes.
Yes. Sure. Do you have like a special memory about an experience that kind of, a milestone or something that you really remember as something special, an experience with crystals in your life?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about yesterday. I'm going to keep it really real. Yesterday, I was having a tough day. I just was emotionally all over the place, and I was laying on my bed. And granted, I have a lot of crystals in my bedroom, and I was crying, and my son was on the bed next to me, and I was just all over the place. And my husband looked at me, and he's like, stop. And I go, okay. And he took 5 rose quartz, because I was laying on the bed, and he laid them on my body. And my husband's from Missouri, so it's not like he grew up, you know what I mean? He's in this world because he married me. But he's like, look, you got to stop. You are just, I don't know what's going on with you. And he laid them on my body. And it just was the crystals that were next to my bed. It could have been anything. But it was almost as if I landed back in. It's almost like all my energy and I got back in, and I was like, okay, I started to breathe again. I got grounded, and it was almost like all this fragmented energy. I was like, now I'm not saying I was like, oh, I'm all fine now, but it all came together. Does that make sense? I landed, and I said to him, I'm like, hey, I didn't know you were a crystal healer. That was amazing yesterday. You know, I mean, you've been married 20 years. I never knew you had that in you. And he's just like, no, you were out of, I mean, it was beyond, come on. And so what I said is that for me, sometimes we get so, even me had been on this journey a long time. I still go there, but the earth, that weight, the energy, the soothing, it landed me, and I got back into perspective, and I'm like, okay, get it together. And then I came from a grounded space versus fragmented and hysterical. Huge shift, 3 minutes. So that would be, I'd say my most current realization of how powerful the energy of the earth can be, because I didn't have an hour to get my act together. Thank God he did it in a few minutes. You know what I mean?
That's kind of good timing of things as well, right?
It really is good timing for exactly your question. Thank goodness.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. And it's so nice to hear that your husband is also doing magic with you.
It is, and he had no idea. Yes, he just was trying to get his hysterical wife together.
And it's also, Heather, you know, it's also nice to hear that you can be hysterical, because we have to fall out of things sometimes. We can't be composed all the time. It's not natural.
Well, I don't want to numb myself, because that's not going to do. I've done that gig too. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's going to get us where we need to. That's not going to get me where I need to be. I got to feel it. It's uncomfortable. It sucks, but I want to work through it. I don't want to have it stored in my cells, because, yeah.
That's true. That's true. So we have a couple of short questions here. So do you have a life motto you live by?
My go-to is love is the answer. Mm-hmm. That's it. And some days I go to it a lot, because I forget, or life is like, I get in my story, or but I know where I need to go, and that's where I'm gonna go, because that's love heals. It really does.
Love is the answer. And when it comes to food, do you have any special dishes that you love, or something?
Right now, I have an interesting food journey, because if I didn't do what I was doing, I think I'd either be a dermatologist, which I love the facial world, but then it would also be a nutritionist, because there's so many gold eggs. But right now, because it's spring and I'm in this kind of energy, and I don't know, I'm very into Ayurvedic medicine and the panchakarmas and that stuff. So right now I am really honing in on the energies of just going on a very more geese, and trying to do some detoxifications right now with the cilantros and the parsleys and the aloe veras. And I'm really I want to really keep clean. I want to be a clean vessel right now. So right now my journey has to do with high grades of vitamin D, some good vitamin C's, and some really good parsleys and cilantros, and that energy just to really hone in and detoxify, so I can be a clear channel. Yeah.
Nice and fresh.
Yep. Fresh. Yes.
So when not dealing with feng shui, crystals, energies, and food, what other kind of hobbies do you have?
My biggest fear, my brother is an artist, and he's very good. So you mentioned the pictures, he does a lot of the art. So my whole life, that has been a fear of mine, because he was so good. So during this time period, as a personal challenge, I wanted to break through my own creativity fears in regards to painting. And so my whole thing as of recent is working with mixed media and acrylics. And so I've really gone into that whole artistic expression because I felt like that was holding me back. And through conquering those fears, I now see myself working with spices differently. And there's this whole momentum of me feeling free to play and not having to be perfect and follow something. I want to be in the vibration of creation. So I have to say I'm conquering my biggest fear about like putting art on a canvas because I was so like this, but you know what, who cares? It's not, so I don't care if it's not the best thing. I just have to do it. So yeah, that's my new hobby.
Nice. It's very, it's releasing to work with color, I think.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Even though it's scary, I know that too. What kind of books do you read? You write books, but what kind of books do you read?
I am all over the place with books. I love books. I digest books. I love them. I love a book. I love the pages. I love everything. So I do have to say I read a lot of books. I love neuroplasty. I love books on pranic. I love ancient wisdoms and secrets, and I read things about the mind a lot, about how to reprogram. I also am very into flowers, so I'm really into that kind of stuff. And I like romance. I really like it all. I love books and reading how somebody's perspective of a story is, you know? So I will read 5 books at one time. So there's different things going on in all different things. Yeah.
The pile by the bed.
I do. And I have to pocket them because, you know, I don't want to, feng shui, you don't want to have too many books by the bed because then it gets heavy by the nightstand. You can't sleep. So yeah.
I think I have to go home and clean mine.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, nice. So do you have a hidden talent?
A hidden talent. I hope my hidden talent is to be of service. To be like, my gift is for me to help not only myself transform, but help as many people transform and transmute to help them remember that they also have a gift. We all have a gift, and that we need to plug into that. So that's what I hope my gift. I hope that's my superpower. Yeah,
I think it's really nice. And Heather, I'm just going to take the opportunity to just how do you say, strengthen that, because you're doing a great job on Instagram and Facebook with lots of information and inspiration and challenges and courses, 14 days and stuff like that. So there's a lot of generosity in your social media channels.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to say to your Swedish readers and followers?
When I got this email that I would have this opportunity today, I literally started crying because Sweden is someplace I'm going to manifest. I'm coming to Sweden because it's been a dream. It's a bucket list. But just to know that Sweden and people in Sweden were into crystals, I didn't know that. And it made my heart sing. And to know that this community of light workers, because I do feel us as earth keepers and light workers, is spreading, and that there's this community in Sweden now that I didn't know exists. It literally, I've kind of been bragging. I can't brag to too many people because I can't go anywhere but my husband. I've been bragging to him, like, people in Sweden. So, and he's like, you're so lucky. And I'm like, I know. So I don't know. So that's been like a really highlight. So thank you. This has made me smile so much just to be able to have this opportunity and know that there's a community of just beautiful light beings in Sweden, and we're just raising the consciousness of our planet, and I love it.
And we are so happy to be able to have this exclusive video interview with you to share with all your Swedish new followers.
Thank you. So grateful, just so grateful and so blessed, and thank you. And it is a gift that you opened the opportunity. So thank you. I'm grateful.
Thank you. And likewise.
Thank you.
It's a gift for us as well. So Heather, I think we're all set for today, and you're starting your day now, and I'm going home and having dinner with my family.
Oh, mwah, and sweet dreams. May you have the best night ever.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank
Super,
you.
thank you. And good luck now with everything over there.
Thank
Soon
you.
you'll be locked out.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.